Well, I tell you, Zach, we really appreciated the support through the pandemic. I mean, I can't imagine what that business might be like. I mean, you guys represent a lot of different manufacturers, right?
Yep.
And I mean, how do you even begin, right, with the communication with all these different parties? I mean, do you find yourselves ending up picking up different lines, dropping different lines? Kind of, how does all that impact your business?
Yeah, we didn't drop a single one during the pandemic, Al, but it really did emphasize that just like our 401k portfolios or our investment portfolios, you need to be diverse. And not one manufacturer was shielded or got it just absolutely right and crushed it when we've experienced a lot of these supply chain constraints. And so we emphasize to our group and our partners, have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C. Are there other technologies you can look at that will ultimately achieve that connectivity? So what we did is we looked for ways to diversify more, to accelerate on looking at a variety of manufacturers that can help our partners like you. And we came out the other end fairly unscathed. And we're not out of the weeds yet as far as supply chain constraints and issues. We're seeing improvements. We're optimistic that the second half of the year here, we're going to see some improvements, but I think we're still in 2023 where we need to be in this super planning, super nimble mode. So we look to diversify out.
Yeah,
he was like the duck that was swimming around the evergreen that was blocking the Panama Canal. Like, he just was.
Exactly. Exactly. How do you plan for that?
Yeah.
Hard stuck for what? 20 days, 30 days?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, yeah, that's what I think that what a lot of these, even the cities and the municipalities and the people that are wanting the broadband, they don't understand that, or they don't care, and they probably shouldn't care, right? I mean,
yeah. Yeah. Well, a lot of these funds, they have a time limit on it, right? So if you can't ship the product, you can't invoice for it.
Yep.
And so if you're waiting 6 months and then you kind of pass your window, that's not a good thing, right? So with respect to WAVE, now there are other distributors that are in the marketplace, obviously, right? But we see WAVE a little different from the others. I'd just like to hear your impression. I mean, knowing your competition, Zach, how do you view WAVE as different from your competition and the impact it can have for a company like SmartWAVE?
Sure. So really, I've never had a bad thing to say about our competitors. We all have our own strengths, and I'll just talk to our strengths and how we perform and how we show up. When you look at WAVE, it's not just WAVE. We have a wholly owned subsidiary called Last Mile Gear, and they're in Washington State. And we also have a Canadian joint venture, MBSI WAVE, and they're up in Medicine Hat, Alberta. And so really, when you engage with a WAVE or one of those other entities, you're really engaging in three. So that's 3 times the supply chain smarts. That's 3 times the logistical teams and warehouse capabilities. 3 times the forecasting power and the buying power with our manufacturers. So you have heavier influence in working with us, where we have a lot of different manufacturer relationships, a very diverse portfolio, and you've got 3 entities watching your back when we engage. And there's a lot of other things we do. I mentioned very crudely in the beginning, bank and a truck, but there's a lot of other things that we offer. When you have a solution, Al, you had mentioned, we have a project, we've got 6 months, the funding is running out. We've got an order that is waiting on 2 switches or 3 switches. Mm-hmm. Our engineering team and our product managers and supply chain team, we go into, I want to call it very crudely, Frankenstein mode. And it's like, okay, what switches do we have available today? What SFP options do we need? What does Al and his team want to accomplish to ultimately connect these folks? And can we look at an alternative solution? And we spend that time with our engineers. How do we get this done? How do we get this done? Advance the ball. And that is the mission. And so we're not just oh, sorry, Al, you ordered these SKUs. It's going to be, 7 months, not in your 6-month time frame. Sorry, you may want to try elsewhere. It's how do we get this done for SmartWAVE and those kids that are right behind that project, that
That's right.
community that's right behind that project. And we take great pride in that. So those are ways we differentiate. Now, if I've answered your question, sir.
Yes, yeah, very,
All
very
right.
good.